I'll say two things. First off, for those of you who saw Hell's a Pop, where Frankie's the one who gets kicked in the butt and flies, he used to tell this great story about this. Basically, so they do that routine for months and months and months, and they keep working on it to get it better and better, and they get the show for filming. And he's like, you know what? Really kick me in the butt. We're just gonna tape this one time, it's gonna be fine. Just give it all that you got, just kick me in the butt. It's gonna be excellent. And so she does it, and then the director comes up, so he tells the story, he's like, and so she kicked me in the butt, it really hurt a lot, but it turned out great. We did that 9 times that day. And he says that one time she got a little too low, and he didn't walk for like 2 weeks. So he was such an incredible storyteller. There's a lot of DVDs of him telling stories at various camps. I highly recommend reading his book, but there's nothing quite like seeing him describe these stories in real life.
For me, what Frankie did for me the most was taught me to, how do I say this? Really appreciate everything that I do, whether it be dancing, whether it be interacting with people, whether it be talking in front of people, although I'm a little bit more nervous about that than him. He really had an ability to bring joy and appreciate the simplest things. And one of the most marked examples of that for me is a couple, I guess, months ago? Yeah, a year and a half ago in Houston. A whole bunch of us were teaching down there, and we were privileged enough to share a bill with him. And at most of these events, they have all the teachers come out and do a little demo. So they had all us kids come out. I'm 32, but compared to Frankie, I'm a kid for sure. And we'd go out and we'd do our thing. We were pretty good. I think we danced pretty well. We did our thing. 2 minutes later, Frankie comes out. Frankie comes out dancing with Dawn. Takes one step, makes me feel like a spaz. I was doing all this crap. And it didn't matter, because Frankie came out and did one little step with a big smile on his face, and that's what mattered. That's what mattered. And every time I saw Frankie, every time I saw him dance or saw him talk, I got that appreciation for the delightfully unpretentious manner he had in his dancing and as a man. And I've always tried to use that as a life lesson for me, and I hope it's come through in my dancing. I hope it's come through as a person. I've certainly learned from it, and I will continue to.
I had started learning swing dancing in 1998, and almost from the get-go, as soon as I got my hands on a copy of Hell's a Poppin', and as soon as I saw it, I knew that that's what I wanted to do. I just wanted to be able to experience that kind of dancing and to do that kind of thing. And so I was in college in the middle of nowhere on a mountain in Tennessee, like you do, and I ordered the Frankie Manning instructional tapes, and they don't go into the Hell's a Poppin' territory, obviously. But anyway, so I watched the tapes over and over again. I knew my swing out, my circle, my Charleston, and my tuck turn. And I decided I was going to go ahead and buy a ticket to Frankie's 85th birthday party. And so I flew all the way to New York. I crashed in a friend's house. I went to the event, and I was so amazed at what I saw. And the Saturday night, they had the enormous dance Saturday night, big dance. I watched all the great people dance. I met a lot of people from DC. I made a point to dance with the DC girls, because they were the only people my age. And they were really incredible. And so I remember distinctly dancing with Greta and Naomi for the first time. And then, so that night I go out, there's a late night dance at a place called Swing 46. Is that what it's called? Swing 46. I get there early. I leave before the giant mass of people leaves the New York ballroom. And I find there's only one booth left. I sit in it because I just want to kind of take everything in. I don't really feel like dancing. So I'm sitting there just kind of like enjoying the moment, and I hear this person say, "Is this seat taken?" And I look up, and it's Frankie Manning. And he sits down with his entourage, all of which kind of like shoved me in the booth. And for the next 3.5 hours, I'm in that booth with Frankie Manning as like thousands of people walk by wishing him a happy birthday, wondering who I am. And I talk to him about everything I can think of, the stupidest questions in the world. I'm like, I'm from Georgia. And he's like, I have a granddaughter in Georgia. And so we talk about that and all that kind of stuff. And people come by and they ask me to dance, and I don't want to move because I'll lose my seat. And so I just remember distinctly that for some reason, I spent 3.5 hours with Frankie Manning on his 85th birthday. For some reason. And he was the most likable gentleman I think I've ever known.
What really struck me these last couple of days, when we heard he wasn't doing well, and when we all found out the news, I don't know, for me, it struck me how like, I'm just this little speck in Frankie's world. I mean, it's not that he didn't care about dancers, but there were thousands and thousands and thousands of dancers. And these little bits of time that we got to spend with him on his birthday, or on the dance floor, or getting hit on. Like these little bits of time, like that's him being so generous and giving out this gift. And I know like I can't flatter myself to think like I meant a lot to Frankie, but I know he meant a lot to me. What really struck me was how much his life was this gift to all of us. I just feel like I gave him very little in like trying to do this dance and caring about it a lot, and he gave me like 100-fold back. I think it's this big testament to him, seeing the outpouring of people, like not just here in DC, but around the world. People are going to dances tonight because of this, and it's so great to see like people who started the Jam Cellar and people that I haven't seen in 10 years. And I see people out here tonight that started dancing when I started dancing. There are people here tonight that started dancing way before me. It's just, it really strikes me how much he gave to all of us. His life was this big gift.